All right, welcome back. Um, so the next thing we're going to be doing is the Academy of Raya Lucaria, which I have no clue. I have no clue. Get ready for a lot of problems with speech because I do not talk well. But I have no clue who Raya Lucaria is, and I probably will never find out for ever. But we'll just kind of hop right into it. If you don't know, I'm not going to comment on the way I'm editing or anything like that. You're just going to have to deal with it. But I must say the beginning of Ray Lucaria is absolutely horrible. It is just because the skeletons respawn and everything. There's not really a point to fighting them, and then there's dogs that will chase you down. Once you get past this point, it actually doesn't get easier because let me tell you, are the magicians in this area just so fucking annoying. I don't know if they're as annoying as a lot of the flying enemies in the game, because boy does it just have a problem with the camera, but it's because they're so spammy that you can just spam magic attacks over and over and over again. So the moment there's more than one, you're just constantly being fired at, and it's almost impossible to deal with them. So I end up doing a lot of just baiting them until I decide just to run past them. Um, there's not a whole lot interesting until we get to the first boss of this area. Are there more than two boss? That one might be considered. Anyways, um, and this guy is the Red Wolf of Radagon. I think that was the name. I will say I saw this guy. Did not want to fight him. I love him. I want a plushie of him. He's so cute. He's such a good boy. He's a good boy. I did not want to fight him, but I actually don't know if I'll be able to use this footage for editing because it seems to be having a bit of problems. I'm not able to like click through when I try to view it in the media player. It has like a streaming symbol that shows up for some reason instead of like how there's like the beginning time and that's where your current time is, and then how much time you have left. Instead of how much time you have left, it just has like a live streaming symbol for some reason, even though the video's long since been terminated, for lack of a better term, right now. So if I do have it, I'll be putting some of the footage of the fight over it. He's essentially a magician dog, which is cool. He has like sword jumps and like it's a magician doggy. He's a variety of different magic stuff. He's not actually that difficult to defeat though. So yeah, there's not a whole lot. I'm thinking back through now. I gotta say, A Lucaria was actually not a very long area in terms of having actual stuff to talk about. There is a large variety of stuff that I could go over when exploring, because I think there's like a glintstone like mask thing and like a wand that you can get by going super deep into it, or you could just ignore that and go really really quickly to the end, and that's probably going to be the path I go over. This is not, it is a large area but also not. But yeah, there's essentially a couple paths you can go to. One that will lead you to essentially the end of the academy, and one that you can go on if that just has a ton of enemies and like items you can get and that kind of stuff. Magicians are plentiful and as annoying as ever, but we're going to ignore those for the most part and go straight to the ball. And I feel like I remember there being a video. I don't know if it was this area or not, of a ball, at least like this. Someone like stands up on like the railing, and the ball stops mid place and like turns to them and then smacks them off the edge. I don't even know if that was an Elden Ring or not. I just remember when Elden Ring was initially, you know, around. I remember seeing that video a lot. It was very funny. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. If I can find the video, I might put it over, but I probably will be too lazy to do that. So find it by yourself. Probably not too hard to find, and it will probably be worth your limited time on this earth. Don't worry about that. But after this is actually for me was the hardest part of the entire Academy of Lucaria. The munitions are annoying, and this is actually a character that I consider to be a boss, and that is Moongrum Kyrian Knight. Now, actually, I'm not entirely sure what category of enemies this guy falls under. Clearly, he is not a boss. He doesn't have the boss bar, but his name is Red, and he is a named. I guess that would be what it is. He's a named enemy. They also don't seem to respawn, similarly to bosses and other of the like, and they do seem to drop unique weapons. But boy, was this guy freaking annoying. And I actually do encounter guys similar to this later on that also still trip me up. The main thing is, this guy can counter, and when he counters, or is it stance breaking? He can stance break you, I guess would be a more accurate description. And when he stance breaks you, he is able to one shot you, regardless. And he's able to pull up the shield very, very quickly, and all of a sudden, to be able to do that. And so that was kind of the main problem I encountered when trying to fight him. And let me tell you, this guy took longer than the final boss for this area. He took me an egregiously long time to defeat. And when I did, it didn't even feel satisfying. I gotta say. It's kinda sad. But speaking of next boss fights, directly behind him is the elevator, and also I think you might be able to just run past him, actually. You might be able to just do that. Anyways, yeah, you just go up the elevator, and that will be where the next story boss is. Anyways, I'll play the cutscene for you right now. It was really creepy. The entire it's creepy. It's quite creepy. Anyways, here.
Hush, little Calva. I'll soon birth thee anew, a sweeting, fresh and pure.
Anyways, this is Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. It took me a bit to get it, but it's not too hard. The ladies that are singing lullabies on the floor, also the whole thing with the. Anyways, this is Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. A surprisingly creepy boss, considering she has like a larva in a jar that she's caring for, and all of the weird clones, I guess, that are on the ground singing. It took me a minute to figure out how the boss works, but one of the many, many women that are on the ground will have like a gold aura around like her head where she's singing, and you attack her, and once you attack three of these people, the shield around Renala will break, and you can attack her and, you know, eventually kill her. Something to note is you don't actually have to kill the clones, and I personally, a lot of times, didn't really feel a need to, so I would just attack them and you can actually do it pretty quickly. I'm sure there's probably a lot of random chance in speedrunning that could probably like make it very quicker or slower depending on luck and RNG and that kind of stuff. But you might have guessed it. What do you know? There's a second phase, and there you go. Surely there has to be a second part, right? There has to be. That was way too easy of a fight. Oh yeah, absolutely. The child's gonna wake up
My
or something.
beloved, have no fear. I will hold thee. Patience. Ye will be countless born, forever and ever.
Mildly concerning.
Upon my name as Rani the Witch. Mother's rich limber shall not be disturbed by
Wait,
thee.
Ronnie?
Foul trespasser. Send word far and wide.
She attacked me first.
Of the last queen of Caria, Renala of the full moon. In
Ah,
the
poo.
majesty of the night she conjureth.
So when this initially happened, I did get immediately one shot. To be clear, because I was not ready to fight her. Also, I was caught a bit off guard because I thought by fighting Renala, I thought I had pissed off what's her face, Ronnie, somehow. Because I thought I heard Ronnie. I don't even know if that was Ronnie. I think it was. But yeah. Now we're gonna actually pause for a second here because I got a little story to tell. You see, I think the second time I got to the second phase, all of a sudden, the TV I was using, I have two TVs. The TV that I had Elden Ring up on, and I had like OBS up on the other, TV that I had Elden Ring up on just turned off. And I tried turning it back on. It would turn on for like a second, and then turn off again. Um, which was unfortunate. But I hadn't gone very far, and I was like, oh, okay, well, first off, it was annoying to try and get around to closing Elden Ring properly without opening Task Manager and closing it, because the computer still imagined that the second monitor was there, but obviously I couldn't actually, even move the mouse over to the second monitor. So it was just like fake there and fake not. Also, I'm calling it a monitor, but it wasn't. It was a TV. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we're going to Best Buy. And I do. I go over to Best Buy and I decide to get a new mouse while I'm there anyways, because let me tell you, don't get a mouse that's battery powered. It's not worth it. And it's just very annoying. Although I do kind of miss the weight of it. I know it's weird. But I end up getting a mouse that's rechargeable rather than batteries, but also end up getting a monitor. Now this is important because TV that I was using was, I think, 700, like it was like 760p or something, and like 768 by 680, and that's like the resolution. It was pretty bad. But you see, I didn't really know that. For me, that was just the entire thing. And so I get a monitor that's much better. I can't tell you the specs because I don't freaking remember. I could probably go and find them if someone comments about it. Like, hey, I wanted the specs. I still have the box, so I'm sure I could go find out. But what I can tell you, and I get back and I load it up, and I open Elden Ring, and I'm immediately like, wow, that's crazy. It looks significantly better. Another thing that I did want to note is a weird thing that I don't quite understand. With the monitor, I did notice that it feels like it's less bright, which makes sense but also doesn't. It's like there's less saturation. I don't know if that's the correct term. But another thing I noticed is it's bigger. Like the desktop in and of itself is bigger. And you can even have that be shown in the settings when you're configuring, when you go over to like screen and like settings and stuff. This the little block is, it has like monitor 2 and monitor 1. And monitor 1 is significantly bigger, and that doesn't, and that for a little bit couldn't didn't make sense in my brain, because like the TV is bigger physically, why is the monitor bigger virtually? And to be honest, that still doesn't quite make sense. I think it's because of the resolution, but that tripped me up for quite a while. I really like it. Don't get me wrong, but it just tripped me up for a while. Anyways, back to actually Elden Ring. She has magic attacks. What do you know? Most of which you should have encountered by now and understand at least vaguely what to do with. Sorcery isn't awfully different. It's just about casting, and there you go, you casted it. The other main one is the Kamehameha she does at the beginning. That can also appear later on, but also there are a couple other ones before we get into the other stuff. The main one that comes to mind is she'll like throw her staff in like a spinning motion that reminds me of that stuff in like mobile games where it has like, it's like a rogue like mobile game where you get like spinning like chakras or something, and you like spin around your character. It's like that kind of. It reminds me of that. If you get hit by it, you'll get stun locked. You can get stun locked inside like the spinning staff, and it will probably kill you if you get stuck in it. Um, the other one is she like rolls up into like a fetal position and like goes into like a full moon, and then when she leaves, there's now a full moon coming at you. I actually don't know if I even ever got hit by this. It's a very slow moving attack and very easy to avoid. And also, as I was talking about this attack, I just remembered the battle arena is really, really pretty. It is very, very pretty. I'll just kind of leave it at that. But yeah, it's pretty. It's very, very pretty. But you might not guess this. But what do you know? She has a second phase. Kind of. Yes, I would say it's the second phase of the second phase. Bit confusing, isn't it? The main thing with this phase is she now begins to summon stuff. And it's four things specifically, and I don't know how one of them gets chosen. One of them is a pack of wolves. I believe it's like 5 wolves, maybe. I'll have it up on the screen. I'm sure you can count them. The other one is a troll. Another one is uh Mr. Smarg, the dragon. And the fourth one, for me, was the Bloodhound guy from the Evergale that's super far south. Like, super far away from Raya Lucaria. And so I don't know how it gets chosen, because that doesn't feel like who she should summon. The person I feel like she should summon is like the thief, because that's the most recent one, or the first one I fought and defeated, which was the Crucible Knight, which he will always have a special place in my heart. Crucible Knight, I love him, but I don't know why she chose the Bloodhound guy. But for the most part, other than the dragon, which even with the dragon, for the most part, I feel like you can just run away from them, and most of the time you'll be fine. Just run around in a wide circle and eventually catch up to her, and then assuming this summons are gone, you can attack her. This is not a hard fight. Like I like I said, I had more trouble with Moongrum than this lady. But yeah, most of this was me yapping rather than actually having Elden Ring content to talk about. But that's really Lucaria. There's tons of places to explore in it, but I'll leave that up to you. Just go do that if you want the stuff, or rather, if you want the runes, but be ready to lose them as well. Yeah, not a whole lot more to talk about. Um, I'm actually not sure what's next. I think the thing I do next is a lot of exploring. Um, so yeah, that'll probably be next. I made a pretty good dent into the videos. It should be. Let me see. I'm on video 10 out of about 30. So I'm. It's you can think of it as one of a third, but it's not really one of a third because I do end up picking up speed quite a bit when actually going through stuff. I end up going just everywhere my brain could possibly take me. So yeah, there's still a fair amount of content left, but I feel like a majority of my Elden Ring content will either be the unlisted, uncut videos, or me 100% completing it, which will come much later on. But I am going to do that at some point, whether that be in a few months or a few years. It's gonna happen. It will happen. But yeah, I won't tell you to like or subscribe. I don't really care. Honestly, I'd prefer you to comment something rather than liking or subscribing. Um, so yeah, do that. You know what? Don't like, don't comment, and just comment something. Say hi or some crap. Bye.